Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Welcome to RadioAMB, designed for those who want to live a long and vibrant life, because we think pretty is pretty important in all things in beauty. I'm Patty Schmucker, a licensed cosmetologist who's been in the beauty industry for over 40 years. RadioAMB, which stands for American-Made Beauty, is where we tell the secrets behind the making of health and beauty products. Our segment sponsor today is Tia Spa, with the introduction of their newest product, Collagen. An anti-aging collagen mask. This is a really cool, innovative product using freeze-dried technology to preserve the collagen. Collagen, as you know, is one of the most important proteins of the body that supports healthy skin. It's an important building block for elasticity. The innovation is a freeze-dried suspension of the collagen that sort of looks like cotton candy. To use, you release a serum made up of essential vitamins and an advanced delivery system into the freeze-dried collagen that melts right before your eyes into a luxurious gel mask that you apply with a brush. Go to AmericanMadeBeauty.com for this innovative new skincare mask under Tia Spa. Today, we welcome back to the show the president of the American Influencer Awards, Mr. Chris Crellin, who launched the American Influencer Awards organization a year ago and held their very first Influencer Award program in Los Angeles in November of 2018, is here with us today. It really was a veritable who's who of social media personalities, beauty gurus, and celebrities. You'll hear today about the event last year and the work Chris and his team are doing to celebrate, commemorate, and acknowledge those within the beauty industry that consumers and brands are listening to for fun and education on all things beauty. Social media now plays such a pivotal role in the consumer's day-to-day buying decisions that American Made Beauty is excited to support the American Influencer Awards and the importance within the marketplace influencers and social media are playing today. Welcome, Chris. I'm delighted to have you with us.
Thank you, Patty. I appreciate you having me.
So for our audience, let's start out by reviewing. We had you on the show last year when you were just the American Influencer Awards was sort of a sparkle in your eye. It actually happened. Tell us a little bit about the organization and how it all got started.
Yes, absolutely. As you mentioned, we launched the platform about a year ago, and the message from the very beginning was that we wanted to create an environment and essentially a platform to elevate the profession of influencers because the influencers today are becoming so powerful and so integral in helping grow brands, when it comes to their marketing strategies and advertisement strategies. So we figured that we would put together our organization to recognize their excellence.
And so the program last year happened in November. Tell us about how did it unfold? What were some of the key highlights?
Absolutely. So we had 130 of the top beauty influencers across the industry that were recognized across 26 different categories. The voting took place online over a 31-day period for the month of October. We had a lot of great interest and a lot of devoted followers that voted for who they thought the winners should be. As you mentioned, our first annual award show took place in November. The hosts of the show were Starrr and Kandee Johnson. Our red carpet host consisted of Larissa Love. We had Hank and Henry, ZZ Yang, and, of course, Adame the Beauty Warrior. So the show consisted of a 2-hour red carpet event. It was actually streamed live by YouTube. They had exclusive distribution rights for the show. So, as I mentioned, there was a 2-hour red carpet event, and then from there we had the 2-hour award show. And then after that, we wrapped it up with an exclusive VIP after party for all the talent that was part of the show, and of course all the sponsors.
And you had, along with the awards and providing that, you also had some great talent that performed as well.
Yes, we did, absolutely. We had Allison Porter, who was the winner of The Voice. And then we also had a gentleman by the name of Ricky Rebel. So 2 great musical performances. You know, we didn't want it just to be award after award after award. We wanted to break it up and have some fun and make sure that, everybody that was there attending the event and, of course, watching on the YouTube platform were engaged and we mixed up some different content. So it was a great evening, and we look forward to putting on a much more impressive event this year. We're certainly going to be scaling. There's a lot of fun and exciting things that we're doing behind the scenes, and we're really excited.
Great. Now, so sticking a little bit with the show that happened last year, what were some of the highlights for you that you really didn't think about it going into it, but as you look at it in retrospect, what are some things that stand out to you?
I mean, one of the biggest things that stood out to me was just the reception that we got, just seeing the community embrace it, not only the sponsors, and of course YouTube wanted to be part of it, but most importantly the influencers. For a first-year event, we had 130 different nominees. Of the 130 nominees, we had 110 in attendance. In addition to the actual talent that was recognized at the show and nominated for an award, we had a lot of other talent, beauty influencers, of course influencers from other industries that wanted to be there to support their peers. So being there on the red carpet, looking around, seeing all the different talents, seeing the celebrity talent that showed up, the other brands that came to support the event, it was pretty breathtaking for a first-year event. And just the most rewarding part of it for me was 2 things. It was, number one, giving the platform to these influencers to really elevate their profession and put them on a platform that they certainly deserve to be on. And the second thing was all profits went to City of Hope. So I'm actually a cancer survivor myself and lost my father to cancer. So raising money for City of Hope and donating all profits to cancer research was something that was very special, and it was great to see everybody come out and support the event.
Absolutely. But let's talk for just a second about that platform that you're saying with regards to influencers. I mean, it's something that's really grown organically, and really in about the last 10 or 12 years that this marketing channel, if you will, of people going on and doing blogs and vlogs and their social media and that type of thing that is really connecting brands. Why do you think that they really have needed a platform in order to be able to elevate them into a professional category?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, like I was saying earlier, the number one way to build a brand these days is through influencers. It's influencer marketing, as they call it. And essentially what that means is anybody that has a social media platform that has an audience or followers is essentially an influencer these days. So these influencers, like I mentioned, it's the number one way to build a brand is through influencer marketing. And 15, 20 years ago, people would spend their advertisement dollars on commercial spots on TV and all these various, avenues. And what people are realizing now is the influencers have such a targeted audience. So if you have an influencer who's really into hair color, for example, and they've got, different color hair, and typically their audience is following them in an organic fashion because they're truly enamored and they truly want to follow that specific person for the hair color that they have. So hair color company, for example, might be very interested in working with this particular influencer because their audience is so specific. And that's one of the really neat and interesting things about social media and these influencers is, some of them are just naturally born into their niche, and some of them carve out their own little niches. And it's really a neat way for the brands to connect with a very specific audience.
Absolutely. And when you, I guess I didn't really realize that a portion of the proceeds went for a charitable organization. And I know within our industry, City of Hope is really well known. And, of course, if you've been touched by cancer, they are the absolute authorities. Would you touch for just a moment on City of Hope and some of the work that they do?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're one of the biggest innovators, in medical today. The technological breakthroughs and the medical breakthroughs that they have on a daily basis is pretty fascinating. I still go there to this day, and I get my yearly checkups. Knock on wood, I've been nearly 20 years cancer-free now after going through chemotherapy and radiation. So going to City of Hope and visiting the facility and seeing the patients there and knowing what it is that they're going through really hits home for me, and knowing that we're making a difference and that there's people out there that are struggling on a daily basis and fighting for their lives, it really helps put things in perspective. So City of Hope is something that, I know my family specifically has rallied behind, and something that's very important to our lives and something that we'll always be a part of.
Right. So as you look at this year and putting together the next stage, there's sort of this process that you use. I know I just recently saw from you a new website. So tell us where you are at this stage before the actual voting takes place. What's going on right now in preparation for this year's show?
Absolutely. We've had a lot of influencers and agents and people that are part of the influencer teams and friends and family and followers that have been reaching out to us even before last year's award show, trying to find out how they can get involved and how they could potentially be nominated and be part of the show. So what we did this year is we launched the nominee submission process. So if you go to our website, which is AIAawards.com, you can click on Submit a Nominee, and it's a very, very simple process. It's about a 2 or 3 step process. You just give us the name of the influencer and their Instagram handle and any other social media platforms that you know they're part of, and you have the option to answer a simple question or two and essentially confirm and submit your nominee. And what that does is it's given to our database that, of course, we scrub through. And our advisory board will take all the different nominee submissions and essentially decide who the 130 nominees are going to be for the 2018 award show.
And when you say so right now, anyone who has a favorite influencer that they're following can go on and basically submit that nomination. If the 130 that are actually then nominated that go into the award program, are those in various different categories, and is it just based on the number of votes that they get, or does the panel also weigh in on the work that these influencers are doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. We actually have proposed categories, so when you go on there and you actually submit your favorite influencer or somebody that you would like to nominate, like I said, you give us their name and social media platforms, and then you can choose from some recommended categories. The different categories spread across the beauty industry, from anything from skin, hair, nails, cosmetics, hair care, and then we also actually have another category that says other categories that you can click on, and you can actually propose recommended categories that you would like to see this year, specifically for that influencer. So it's really neat. This isn't something where the categories are already pre-selected. Again, we're just kind of offering different category ideas to the users out there. And to follow up to the second part of your question, yes, we have an advisory board comprised of 12 industry icons. We're actually going to be releasing the names of those people here in the next 30 to 60 days. So that's going to be really exciting. But we have some algorithms that play a role in figuring out who these influencers are going to be. Who these nominees are going to be for this year's award show. But, yeah, I mean, there's an array of different pieces that we pull from, whether it be, how many social media platforms you're a part of, and again, it's not limited to any one of these specific things, but, what platforms you're part of, how many followers you have, what type of engagement you have, are there fake followers, how creative is your content, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of different things that we comb through, and there's a weighted average. So the advisory board, of course, has a specific percentage that they can weigh in on the votes. And with this algorithm built in with the advisory board, we essentially come up with the categories, which will obviously be pre-selected by our advisory board, but most importantly, the nominees will be picked through the algorithm.
And when you mentioned some of those various different pieces of the algorithm, it sounds like you're really helping to shape the professionalism, if you will, because you talked about the whole idea of fake reviews and things like that. Because those kinds of things really hurt brands as well as influencers. So it sounds like you're really trying to create some structure around giving influencers the opportunity to be the best that they possibly can be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said earlier, the ultimate goal when we launched the American Influencer Association last year was essentially creating an environment to elevate the profession of influencers. And by doing that, we also want to bridge the gap and connect the influencers to the brands and make sure that the brands feel comfortable working with the influencers that we nominate and that we support. And we think it's really important that, these brands are working with these influencers and they're essentially getting what they pay for. There's unfortunately a lot of influencers out there like anybody that are essentially scams or, I can say personally I've run brands in the past. I've sent product to influencers before and written checks, and I've had these influencers completely disappear on me. I wouldn't even call them influencers. It was obviously a scam. Mm-hmm. So the idea that we're recognizing these influencers, and really building a community and elevating the platform brings some legitimacy to their profession and makes brands feel more comfortable when they move forward with influencers.
And it sounds also that one of the outcomes as well is giving consumers more confidence that somebody that they're listening to really sort of has that code of ethics in terms of the way that they're approaching their communication to the consumer as well as to the brands.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one thing I'd like to point out, too, that I think I forgot to mention was, one of the nice and unique things about our award show is we're not only recognizing the powerhouse influencers or the macro influencers, which are essentially the influencers that have very, very large followings, but we also have emerging categories as well. We want to be very conscious of the fact that there are some up-and-coming influencers in the beauty space that are already very influential and certainly have a very bright future. And we want to make sure that our followers and the fans of these influencers can recognize anybody of any magnitude. Mm-hmm.
And do you find that where it's been since you began this process and where it is now, are influencers spread out across all social media platforms, or today do they tend to be focused on one or two platforms as compared to anything else?
I mean, that would be a question more for an influencer. What I can tell you from my experience and from what I've seen in our relationships, typically an influencer, specifically focuses on one or two platforms. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean they don't have multiple platforms. It doesn't mean, don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean they're not posting or active on all platforms that they essentially have. But you typically see influencers that have a larger following on one platform versus the others. Mm-hmm. So just because you've got, for example, 5 million followers on Instagram, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to translate over and that you've got 5 million YouTube subscribers and 5 million Facebook likes, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So it's really a case-by-case basis. Again, you might get differing opinions if you ask different influencers, mm-hmm. but I think the majority of them would tell you that they specifically focus on one or two platforms.
Right, right. And do you find that as you're working with more and more influencers, are you finding that there's sort of a magical number where influencers really have a following that makes them attractive for beauty companies?
It's a good question. It's up for debate. I mean, it really just depends on what time of year it is. Mm-hmm. Some of the more recent things that I've heard and the brands that I've talked to and the influencers that I and have relationships with, it sounds like the sweet spot for brands is they really like the micro influencers. They like the up and coming influencers, the ones that have right around 25 to 30,000 followers. Mm-hmm. They seem to think that there's a lot of bang for your buck. However, again, it's a case-by-case basis because you've got powerhouse influencers that are essentially, we call macro influencers mm-hmm. that have millions and millions of followers, and they still have very, very high engagement. And typically what happens is the smaller brands can't afford to work with the bigger influencers because they're a lot more expensive. Mm-hmm. So it's really a brand-by-brand, case-by-case basis.
Right. All right, well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the nomination process in more detail and what are some of the categories as we go into this next show. So stay with us. We will be right back.
Shh, over here. Here's a secret for a virus-free computer. ESET. They've been a pioneer in the antivirus industry for over 25 years. 25 years of innovative, top-rated antivirus protection. ESET's award-winning security solutions provide a safe online experience for over 100 million home and business computer owners. They are so affordable, fast, and simple to use. So be gone, you blue screen of death. ESET's on my computer. If it's not on yours, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on ESET now.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
What does HealthyLife.net and Amazon.com have in common? Well, they're both available on the Internet. They both give great value. But most important, most of our positive program hosts and guests are accomplished authors, and their books are available from, you got it, Amazon.com. Now, it even gets better than that, because when you're listening on air to a HealthyLife.net host or guest, you can go directly to Amazon.com and you can order your book while you're still listening to your favorite HealthyLife.net program. So when you hear an author you like, go to the homepage of HealthyLife.net and click on Amazon.com.
Where positive people and radio unite. HealthyLife.net.
Welcome back. This is Patty Schmucker here at RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. I'm here with the president of the American Influencer Awards, Chris Crellin, and we are talking about the next show coming up. Chris, you mentioned in our previous section that right now the new website is up at AIAawards.com. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, and so now you can go on, you can nominate for your favorite influencers that you're following. What happens, Chris, next once that particular segment of this process closes?
Yeah, so the nominee submissions are going to be open until June 30th, so the end of the month. And then we're going to be announcing the nominees. So let me back up. The advisory board is, of course, going to get together, and with our algorithms, we're going to come up with the nominees and all of the different categories that will be awarded at this year's award show. And the nominees will be announced towards the end of summer, very beginning of fall. And then from there, they will be, of course, they will find out that they've been nominated. And then voting is going to kick off in the month of October. So, again, the voting is going to take place by all the followers, the public, friends and family, anybody that wants to go to the website. It'll all take place on our website again at the AIAawards.com. And we're also going to be launching an app, so you can download the app and you can vote on that as well. And all of the voting will take place by the public. So essentially the winners will be dictated by the votes that come in. And then, of course, announced at the award show November 18th.
That's right. And so the show itself, so mark your calendars. You just announced it. November 18th is the date of the next show. Any ideas at this point, Chris, yet as far as the location, or is that still under wraps?
Still under wraps. We're going to make that announcement here very strategically. We have a lot of fun and exciting things that we want to announce on a specific timeline. So that's something we were going to be announcing here very, very shortly.
Right. And so, again, right now, the way the program is set up, anyone can submit an influencer. Either there are pre-arranged or pre-recommended categories, but there's also an ability to add another category if you think that's missing. Then that goes to your advisory board that will utilize that information along with a set of criteria that you've established in terms of the way that the influencers work to select. And ultimately, there's 130 categories.
No, there's going to be. So last year there were 130 nominees.
Got it.
Across 26 different categories.
Okay.
And this year it'll be something similar. Again, we haven't solidified it yet, only because we're still the nominee submissions are still coming in. Mm-hmm. So it really just depends on what type of category recommendations we get, and once our advisory board sits down and meets together, trying to figure out, exactly what categories should be included, and of course, which nominees should fall under those categories. But it'll be roughly around the same numbers, that 130-ish in 26 categories.
Well, it seems like, particularly in this particular market, in this world, it makes sense to me that you're a bit fluid. I mean, you have to be. As quickly as things are changing, it just makes sense that you're creating a little bit of room for some organic outcomes here. Yes, absolutely. I mean, especially with, like you said, how fast things are changing. I mean, even the influencers, for example, the different collaborations that they have and the different brands that they could potentially be launching and working with, and things are constantly moving, constantly changing. Mm-hmm. So we have to be receptive to those moving parts and make sure that the award show is of course, as relevant as we can make it be. Absolutely. Now, you have some opportunities for sponsors to be involved. Tell us a little bit about that. Yes, so last year we had a lot of great sponsors participate. Very, very exciting. There was a lot of interest. Since our award show last year, we've actually had a lot of different brands and companies reach out and want to be part of it this year. Of course, repeat brands that were part of it last year would like to be part of it again this year. So our sponsorship opportunities are going to be opening up here in the second week of June, so very, very soon. So again, we're going to be launching those packages and letting the brands know all the different ways that they can participate in this year's show. Last year I think the brands saw a lot of value in essentially being in front of the influencers and the influencers, getting to get some exposure to their brands and all the different things that we offered. So very, very excited about this year. We've got some new bells and whistles and some different things that we've added, and we're really excited to get the response of the brands and get things underway. Do you find, Chris, that one of the maybe not intended outcomes of last year was this opportunity for sponsors and both established and upcoming influencers to sort of connect and get to know each other a little bit more?
No, absolutely. I mean, I know off the top of my head, I mean, there's a lot of different names and faces that are going through my head at the moment where there were brands that established relationships with influencers from our show, specifically on our red carpet, right before my very eyes. Mm-hmm. And there's collaborations that are going to be that have just recently been announced or are going to be announced here publicly very soon. So it's really neat to know that because of the award show last year and because of the opportunity that the brands got, they made some relationships there on the red carpet, specifically in this particular incident. And it's really neat to see it through and through and have these things come to fruition.
Well, and it must feel good. Basically, you're a bridge builder. You're building bridges and an opportunity. I heard you say it in our first segment that you're really looking to create a platform to elevate influencers. It seems like having that opportunity to get a connection between an influencer and a brand owner would be the ultimate level of elevating someone.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's so many different ways and creative ideas that we have to really elevate this profession, really putting the influencers on a platform and like I said before, giving them the credit that they deserve and really recognizing their excellence. And then to your point, of course, being able to create a platform where the brands can interact with the influencers and we can bring a really special event to the beauty industry and really have everybody connect on one level.
Well, one of the things I liked, and of course I attended the show last year, but what I really liked is that it was an opportunity where people really came decked out. I mean, you saw everything, but mostly people were really enjoyed themselves and came out really showing beauty and showing fashion in all of its different expressions. That was a really cool part of the show as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it was really neat to see everybody really take that day and make it super special and really put a lot of thought into what they were going to wear and, of course, their makeup and their hair and for people to be able to express themselves. And it was the first time that we brought professional beauty and retail beauty together under one roof. That was really special for us as well, to see everybody come together. And it wasn't even about professional beauty and retail beauty, but you also had the competitor brands that came together to sponsor the event, that were sitting next to each other, that were part of the event. And it really just reminded us of why we were there. And it was for the influencers because they're the ones that are essentially driving the industry currently. And we've got a lot of these millennials now and just people in general that really look up to these influencers, and it was a really special evening, especially with all profits going to City of Hope and raising money for cancer research.
All right, well, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about how to become an influencer. Stay with us.
Over here. Here's a secret for a virus-free computer. ESET. They've been a pioneer in the antivirus industry for over 25 years. 25 years of innovative, top-rated antivirus protection. ESET's award-winning security solutions provide a safe online experience for over 100 million home and business computer owners. They are so affordable, fast, and simple to use. So be gone, you blue screen of death. ESET's on my computer. If it's not on yours, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on ESET now.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
What does HealthyLife.net and Amazon.com have in common? Well, they're both available on the Internet. They both give great value. But most important, most of our positive program hosts and guests are accomplished authors, and their books are available from, you got it, Amazon.com. Now, it even gets better than that, because when you're listening on air to a HealthyLife.net host or guest, you can go directly to Amazon.com, and you can order your book while you're still listening to your favorite HealthyLife.net program. So when you hear an author you like, go to the homepage of HealthyLife.net and click on Amazon.com.
Where positive people and radio unite. HealthyLife.net.
Hey, thanks for staying with us. This is Patty Schmucker. You're listening to RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. I'm here with the president of the American Influencer Award, Chris Crellin, and we've been talking a little bit about the show that happened last year, what's planned for this year. I want to take a little time to just talk for those of you who have thought about what are influencers, and if I want to be one, what would that look like? So, Chris, tell us a little about the role influencers are playing in beauty right now.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, they play a significant role. Again, the number one way to build a brand. Like I said before, essentially anybody that has a social media platform and has even one follower would be considered an influencer. And really, as far as becoming an influencer these days, and for those people out there that you know have embedded themselves into this industry, it really comes down to finding your niche and really carving that out and figuring out exactly what it is, who you are, and figuring out what you do. The biggest advice I have for anybody that wants to be an influencer, just based on my experience and from what I've seen and from all the relationships that I have with a lot of the biggest influencers in the industry and micro-influencers for that matter, you know, one of the questions I ask all of them is, you know, what do you credit your success to? And I think a lot of them say is just being organic, which is one of the most important things that brands are looking for these days. They don't want people that look like they're being paid to sponsor posts or this, that, or the other, or finding an influencer that isn't a good fit for their brand or for their messaging or for their specific category within beauty. So the most important thing is really just, you got to have the passion for it first and foremost. I mean, it's like anything in life. You know, I tell everybody, and including myself, that if you don't have the passion for whatever it is that you're doing, you're never going to succeed. So you really have to find, you know, it goes back to the cliche of follow your heart and do what you love. Mm-hmm. It has to be in your DNA. You have to really love beauty. Mm-hmm. You have to really want to be part of the industry. And, of course, you know, my biggest advice would just be yourself. Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest reasons why a lot of these followers follow these influencers is because these influencers are who they are, and they're real. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the big shift that you've seen in our society here just in the last, you know, couple years, even with, you know, the presidential race that we had here, when was that, last year? Things have become a lot more real, and people want honesty. They want authenticity. They want things to be organic and natural. So the biggest advice I would have is just be true to yourself, be who you are, do what you love, find your niche, and you know, go out and get your social media platforms and post content. And, you know, that's an important piece of it too. Is the creativity, being creative, and these influencers are some of the most creative human beings that I've ever met. I mean, it's really impressive, some of the things that they're capable of doing, from, you know, the hair perspective and the makeup perspective and nails and skincare. And, you know, I don't want to leave anybody out, so I probably shouldn't have gone down that road. But it's really, really impressive. And and certainly the reason why a lot of these followers want to pay attention to these people.
Yeah, and without, I mean, we have this whole group of people that we all follow, but really looking at how do you be creative. One of the ones that I think about is Kandee Johnson, who was actually one of the hosts, along with Patrick Starrr of last year's event, and really beginning to understand her a little bit better. Her creativity was that she does these transformations, and it was just really cool to see her duplicate 24 different covers of Glamour magazine from I want to say 2 or 3 decades ago. So she, as a makeup artist, sort of made herself up, and that was sort of her little niche, that thing that set her apart and got people watching and following her and things like that. So it's very fascinating to see how you can be creative in all sorts of different ways.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that the majority of the influencers out there would tell you that they almost accidentally fell into it. They just, they went out and got Instagram and started posting pictures because, they were proud of the pictures that they were taking, and they wanted to show their friends some of the work that they were doing, or pictures of themselves or friends or family or whatever it was. And before they knew it, they just had more and more people starting to follow them, and they continued to be true to themselves and be themselves, and people, find it fascinating and want to be part of it, and they want to see what it is they're going to do next and what they're going to post next, and they become inspired by the posts and the work, ultimately the work that these influencers are doing.
Many people look at the activity of these social media influencers and they think it's fun and easy. Is that true?
Yes, absolutely.
And it was, but easy too. I mean, my thought is that there's a lot of hard work involved in this.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe I misunderstood you. I thought you were saying that a lot of people, their perception of it from the outside world is that it's very easy.
Yes. Yes, that is definitely the perception. But what's the reality?
Yes. No, I think that that can certainly be the perception, but the reality of it is, I mean, these influencers work harder than anybody I know in any profession. It's around the clock. They're shooting content on a continuous basis. It's actually a day in the life of an influencer would actually surprise you. First of all, it's 365 days a year. Mm-hmm. There's no such thing as taking a day off or taking a vacation. They once their followers or their viewers, expect you to post X amount of times a day. So say hypothetically, you're posting twice a day on Instagram, and not even talking about the other platforms, just specifically talking about one platform. If there's a day that goes by and you don't post, it's essentially hurting their brand and hurting their image. So there's this expectation that they have to continue to live up to whatever it is that they've been producing, mm-hmm. and it's constant. Shooting these videos and taking the pictures and editing the videos and all the time and work that goes into it, and of course the creativity aspect of it all, and whatever it is, whatever content it is that you're creating to obviously take pictures of or to do videos of is very time consuming. So most of the influencers that I know, are up editing and shooting and filming and working till 2, 3, 4 in the morning and waking up and starting all over again. So it's very, very stressful. It's very, very time intensive, and of course it's something that it's not as easy as it looks. Right. It's not as easy as it looks at all.
And the other hard part about it, I would think, that emerges out of this process, you mentioned earlier about being true to yourself and being consistent. I mean, which is an element of creating a brand, is being able to have consistency. So if you're all over the map, it would seem that part of the hard work is really finding your voice and finding something that you can maintain over a long period of time.
Yes. Yeah, no, exactly. Mm-hmm. It's finding your voice. It's finding that consistency, as you mentioned. It's being creative, and that's what's so special about these influencers is they have that creative talent. So, there's a method to how they post and to what they post and to what time they post. And, there's a lot of numbers and statistical data that goes into it as well. They're constantly evaluating their audience and finding out, what times a day they get the most engagement and what days of the week they get the most engagement and, what types of pictures and images and videos do their followers like best. And, not to say that they don't continue to be true to themselves, because they're constantly true to themselves, but, they want to see out of all the work that they do, what do they like the best? Mm-hmm. What do the followers want to see most? So there's a lot. It's very, as I mentioned before, it's very, very time intensive, and it's you have to really, really admire them, especially from somebody like me. I certainly don't have that artistic creativity or that ability, and to see all the different things that they do on a daily basis is truly fascinating.
Absolutely. All right, well, we're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we'll talk again about what's in store for the show coming up this year in November and how to attend. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need, from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call EarthChannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap steak. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.
Hi there, this is Patty Schmucker, and you're listening to RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. I'm here with the president of the American Influencer Award, Chris Crellin, and we have been talking about the upcoming award ceremony this year in 2018. Chris, talk to us a little bit about the date that's been set and how people can be participating at this point.
Yes, so the date's going to be November 18th, 2018. The event is going to take place at night. We don't have a specific time set yet. However, like last year, we're going to have a red carpet event. And then from the red carpet event, of course, we're going to go right into the award show. And then after the award show, there's going to be an exclusive after party for all the talent and the sponsors that are part of the award show.
And right now, as the show is airing here at the beginning of June, the American Influencer Award website, AIAawards.com, is open, so people can submit suggestions for nominees for the program. That'll close at the end of June. Chris, tell us a little bit about what happens from the end of June until the program November the 18th.
Yeah, so that's going to be closing. As I mentioned, there's going to be a lot of different things that we're going to be rolling out here between now and the award show. Some of it we are I'm not going to mention today, only because we want to make it a big surprise for everybody. But you know, as far as the award show, like I mentioned, we're going to have the voting taking place in October. The voting this year is actually going to go right up until the actual award show. It'll close sometime in November. So that's exciting. We've got a few different ideas and some different things that we're going to be doing when it comes to certain categories. So it should be really fun and exciting for our the following and for everybody that's going to be part of the award show. We also are going to be announcing our broadcasting partner shortly, or I should say our distribution partner. So that'll be announced sometime towards middle to end of summer. So that'll be very exciting for us and the influencers, of course, and of course all the sponsorships that are participating from an exposure standpoint.
And if somebody, can the general public attend the event?
Yes, great question. The general public can attend the event. So there's going to be public ticket sales that go on sale on our website, again, AIAawards.com. Those are going to be released actually probably by the very beginning of July. Mm-hmm. So they'll be able to go on the website and participate. And the public it's open to the public for them to attend and view the red carpet. So we highly encourage everybody and anybody that wants to be part of the event to come and be part of the red carpet event. There's going to be a red carpet show again this year, and it'll be an opportunity for the fans to see their favorite influencers up close and personal, and potentially get a chance to talk to them as they're approaching the red carpet or coming off. So we highly encourage you to all come out.
And that was also a very cool part of the event, is that if you are seeing someone and interacting with them in social media, what's really cool is to be able to meet them in person, because many of these influencers, they know your names. This may be the very first time that they'll see your face, but being able to have that connection, I watched as many of the influencers met for the first time in person, people that have been following them, and it was just really, it was like a little great reunion to see that kind of real-life social interaction going on.
Yes. No, of course, absolutely. And it's a really neat experience because, to your point, not only do you have influencers that have been following each other that are, potentially both nominees, and they meet each other for the very first time on the red carpet, but you also have, to your point, followers, too. Mm-hmm. A lot of these influencers, I have to say, they're very, very great with their fans. They're very interactive, and they're very, very appreciative for where they are in life, and they really, really give back to them. And, when you have the general public or the followers that approach a lot of these influencers, to your point, a lot of times they recognize them. Oh, you like all my pictures, or you commented, or, things kind of come together. So it's a really neat experience, and certainly something that's very fun to see.
We talked a little bit in one of the other segments about part of being very successful as a social media influencer, if in fact that's a passion that you have, is finding your voice. And it seems like one of the unintended outcomes of all of this interaction is really teaching people how to be social with one another in person and being able to have that true human connection. You see more of that happening as people are getting together with one another?
Oh, yeah. Even last year, specifically, Jaclyn Hill and Makeup by Mario, for example, had never met before the award show. Mm-hmm. And I remember them seeing each other backstage, and they're like, oh, my gosh, I've never seen you in person, and it's so great to meet you. And, you know, they knew, obviously, so much about each other, and they felt like they've known each other for years. But to actually see each other in person and give each other a hug and be able to talk face-to-face was a really cool experience and something really neat to see. And, again, it was just a reminder for us and our organization that, you know, it gives everybody an opportunity that's in this profession to be under one roof and come together and meet each other and see each other. And it was very long overdue. You know, right. This is something that should be happening on at least a yearly basis. And, again, really neat to see, especially people coming from all over the world, all over the country, and being under the same roof.
Well, we've only got a few minutes left, but Chris, as you have this first year under your belt, what's ahead? What are you thinking are some of the potential next steps that the American Influencer Award will evolve into?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have a lot of things happening right now behind the scenes. Our team is working hard on a daily basis. We have a lot of other platforms that we're going to be rolling out here very, very shortly that are going to be a great complement to the American Influencer Awards itself. You know, we don't want to just be an award show where we show up, you know, once a year and then we disappear and show up once a year. We really want to embrace the community. We want to make sure that we really support the influencers and stand behind them and continue to partner them with the brands and of course, the influencers themselves. And you know, of course, build that bridge to the consumers and the followers as well. So we've got a lot of great things happening. There's some things that we're going to be announcing between now and November that don't necessarily directly correlate with the award show, but certainly more support that we're going to be offering everybody involved, specifically the influencers, because again, you know, our main goal is we really want to make sure that we're creating an environment to continue to elevate the profession of influencers and really put them on the map and make sure that people take them seriously and that they have the credibility that they deserve and most importantly, that their work is recognized in the manner that it should be.
Well, Chris, thank you. Thanks for taking the time, again, to be with us this year. We look forward to getting some updates. We'll ask you to come back for some small little segments between now and the show, and then afterwards, let's plan to do a wrap-up after this next event.
Sounds great, Patty. I appreciate you having me, and take care.
All right, thank you. Join us next week with a woman who has spent a good deal of time wondering why women are treated so badly around the world. She's putting her learnings into action by producing a film called The Chalice and uplifting and inspiring women around the world. I'm Patty Schmucker. Thank you for listening to Radio AMB, where we think pretty is pretty important in all things in beauty.